All right, good evening, everyone. Showing it's a couple minutes after 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Brian Koontz if he would start us off.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next is teacher-student recognitions. I'll turn it over, I guess, to Ms. Wordinger. We've got several different items here. Yeah, you can go, I guess, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So we'll go high school. Ms. Whaley first.
Okay, I'll do our combined one. We have a combined one, so I'll do that, save that for last. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I want to recognize the cheerleaders, high school cheerleaders, so if any of them are here, can you please come to stand? I wrote, Coach, you're also I wrote this out so I wouldn't mess anything up. So over the summer, our varsity cheerleaders attended a UCA camp for the first time in about 6 years. At the camp competition, they walked away with a blue ribbon, a gold ribbon, and a superior trophy. Morgan Jones also competed individually to become an All-American cheerleader. In addition, Haley Williams and Morgan Jones were awarded pins from the staff that they felt exemplified the true spirit of a cheerleader by demonstrating such qualities as leadership and encouragement. There were only 4 pins handed out at the camp, and 2 of them went to our Blue River cheerleaders. So I just want to thank the cheerleaders and Coach McDonald for their hard work and being a positive representation of Blue River Valley Schools. So thank you, girls. And if I have any of the FFA, I know there's a few here. And Mrs. Chernowski, come up, please. Yeah, Amy and Morgan. So at the state convention in June, our FFA chapter represented Blue River Valley Schools and came away with some state champions. Our Ag Mechanics CDE team of Gabe Sayre, Eli Sayre, Tyler Flynn, and Samuel Morton won, which if you win at state, that means you get to go to nationals, and they represent the whole state of Indiana. So they won for our state and get to represent us in November. In addition, our Vet Science CDE team of Maddie Ditton, Faith Martin, Stella Fruchtel Deering, and Morgan Jones won and will also represent the state of Indiana at nationals. So those were our team wins. Individual winners, Stella won in her Agri-Science Research Systems Proficiency and her Agri-Science Fair Food Products and Processing Systems for Division 5. Did I say that all right? Okay, and Jack Quackenbush won for his Service Learning Proficiency. So for such a small school, we had so many that actually won and get a PB and represent Indiana. But that wasn't it. We had 2 students that received their Hoosier degrees. That was Maddie Ditton and Gabe Sayre. Stella was named as a finalist for the Star Farmer Award, which means she was in the top 4. For those of you that don't know, that is the top award for FFA that you can get as an individual. Blue River Valley was also named a superior chapter. And then last but not least, Maddie Ditton competed, ran for state office. She was against 26 other people, had 2 sets of interviews, and was elected as our state secretary. So she has been at Trafalgar. She'll be serving for this year as our state secretary. So to say I'm proud of Blue River FFA would probably be an understatement. As somebody that comes from a strong FFA school, I know how important and how valuable the skills are that they're learning here. So a huge thanks to Mr. Chernowski for her numerous hours, them for their numerous hours, and if you heard, they don't compete again until November, so they are still practicing and probably ready to compete again. They go, I think it's like November 1st through 4th, is that correct? To compete. So, anything I missed?
I'll just add, because we found out since then, Stella had to submit her Agri-Science Fair and her proficiency during the summer for nationals for her Agri-Science Fair project, which is in food systems. We found out she's a national finalist, which puts her at top 10 in the nation. She actually has her national interview on Wednesday. And then in the same press release, we found out she's also a national finalist for her proficiency in animal systems. And for her proficiency, that puts her in the top 4 in the nation. And so she has that interview next week. So she's got 2 national interviews back to back. And so very proud of my kids and all the work they put in. So
Thank you. And Mr. Warnier, if you want to join me, and then anyone that is a part of the digital learning cadre that is here, if you would come up, please. I'm going to say what I want to say, and then she can piggyback on anything I left off.
I agree with everything.
So the team is actually led by Mrs. Dickerson. She could not make it tonight. So over the past year, the Blue River Valley Digital Learning Cadre has met together in addition to working with Dr. Megan Tolan from trying to learn more about digital learning. They selected the LMS for our school corporation, and then they've been able to train teachers on how to use it. In addition to the hours they spent during the school year, they've also spent a lot of time over the summer learning and growing professionally. In May, this past May, they led a PD for all of our teachers. Not only did they do it in May, they also did it in July before we came back to school, and also held 2 in August. So they've done a fantastic job. They are digital leaders in the building, but they're always saying they probably could do better. They're rock stars. We know that people can go to them. They have stepped up, but they're always looking for ways to improve themselves while also encouraging others. So the members are Sherilyn Claw, Kristen Tran, and Mary Parrott from the high school. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out. Kathy Waldreth, Courtney Stoltz, Jessica Venata, Lacey Eisen, and Emily Jenkins from the elementary school. Anything you would like to add?
No, you did beautifully.
So it's been a hard transition for our teachers to go from Schoology and Canvas and Google Classroom and all those combined, and they have said, okay, we're going to do this, and they've led our school. And as administrators, I couldn't ask for anything more. So thank you guys for your hard work and dedication.
Mrs. Gregory. We are all very proud of Mrs. Gregory. She has received the Orton Billingham Practitioner Level 1 certification, which is very lengthy, a lot of hard work. She had 18 months to finish. She finished in 9 months. She worked through the summer. She had one particular student that she worked with. She had to teach 108 lessons, which required, for those of you who aren't familiar, a lot of phonemic awareness. So she had to teach 116 sounds, 100 spelling words, and 100 sight words. And the student was assessed 3 times throughout these 108 lessons, and he improved every single time. She needed to do 18 lessons where she had to video herself, critique herself, then someone else would critique her. She needed to pass 90% or better, which she did, because she's awesome. And she worked with very little time off, and I saw her every time I was there. She's worked very hard, so she's very helpful. She's starting to teach other people in the building about Orton Billingham, which is going to be great for everyone. Congratulations.
Thank you all. A lot of good news there. We'll take a minute. Any of you that were here for any of the recognitions, if you want to slip out now, you can before we get into our regular meeting. If you want to stay, you're welcome to do that as well. But we'll give you a minute or 2 to slip out. All right, moving on. The agenda has been circulated. Are there any additions or revisions we need to make to the agenda? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. We had 4 meetings in August. August 14th, the regular meeting, August 21st, a special meeting, August 29th, executive session, and August 31st, a special meeting. All those minutes are in your packet. Are there any revisions that need to be made to those minutes? And if not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Anything else before we vote? If not, all those in favor of approving the minutes of the 4 August meetings as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and now we'll open it up. Comments from patrons. I know Mr. Tranowski had signed up to speak. This has been kind of an attendance sheet slash, okay, Well, okay, it looks like we do have Colin for speaking to school board, and she's the only one who's signed up, so. Mr. Nowski, the floor is yours. We'll do the 2 minutes, and you probably know the drill.
Obviously, you guys know me. All right, teacher, CTA president. On August 21st, there was a special board meeting in which parents were allowed to talk about a concern that was not on the meeting agenda. I am referring to the early college decision. Allowing parents to speak on the early college issue at 2 board meetings when it was not on the agenda violates your own policy. According to policy H225, the board will not tolerate comments that are on a topic outside of the agenda. Also, on the 21st, a very quick motion to vote was taken without any real discussion. This again violates your own policy. According to policy B255, no action shall be taken on items other than those related to the agenda and purpose of the meeting. Early college was not an agenda item either time. This is a dangerous precedent that has been started that we hope does not continue. The change in the early college decision will impact our school financially. As many of you are aware from our meeting at Stifel, there are some serious financial concerns for our district in the future if things don't change. When the decision was made by you in the spring, we did not budget for the cost of early college. With your decision, we now have to figure out how to pay for this. The cost of early college will come out of the education fund. Did anyone wonder what we will lose to pay for this? Will it be teacher raises? Will it be resources for our classroom? In a year in which the legislators have prevented us from charging parents for anything other than dual credit and AP, your decision has put added stress on an already fragile economic situation. It seems that lately the board has had little faith in the individuals chosen by interview committees to work at Blue River. I can tell you from personal experience that every committee has 4 to 6 people. We spend countless unpaid hours interviewing and deliberating. The intention of our committees is to bring people to BRV that can provide the best opportunities for our students. We all come to an agreement before presenting our recommendation to Mr. McCormick. I ask you to please trust the process and trust the recommendations that are made by the admin that represent the entire committee, not just one person. As I wrap this up, in my 23 years at Blue River, Mrs. Whaley is one of the best principals I've had. She has high expectations for teachers and students, pushes her teachers to grow professionally and get out of their comfort zone. She is fair and consistent. She has wonderful rapport with her staff and has implemented some very positive changes. Mrs. Whaley supports her teachers, and I know I speak for many teachers that we adore and trust her. I will end with, once again, your own policy, B200. A school member should understand that the basic function of the school board membership is policymaking and not administrative. Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is board president comments. I will forego my comments tonight, turn it over if anyone else on the board wishes to comment on any item. If not, Mr. McCormick.
I just want to reiterate the example of students and staff that we had here tonight. Their leadership is much appreciated. I'm reading a book right now that's really pretty timely for me in my role. And the author notes that most all conflict is a result of a misunderstanding of expectations. And I've thought a lot about that over the last week, whether it's teamwork, conflict with teamwork, and how we work through those situations. But this group tonight that was recognized, these are the people that are going above and beyond the call of duty. And it's much appreciated as we realign the expectations at Blue River Valley towards greatness. I had the opportunity this past Saturday to spend the day at the State FFA Leadership Center with Mrs. Cherniowski, and we went down and spent all day in support of Maddie Denton. And what an amazing young lady. Again, a shining example of what we want for all of our students at Blue River Valley. I mean, here I am sitting back and Maddie is leading, just flat out leading an activity and a session presiding over 80 high school students from across the state of Indiana. And it really, in addition to Maddie's work at the State Center, it was just a great framework all the way around on 170 acres near Trafalgar, Indiana. It was just really a breath of fresh air. I enjoyed the entire day. And Mrs. Cherniowski, thank you. Thank Pork Chop and all of your students. Ms. Tooley, thank you for the role that you're stepping into. We have a lot of teachers and students doing a lot of great things across the district right now, and it's much appreciated. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCormick. Move on to board actions, resolutions. The standard financial report and packet is in your folder and was circulated via email. Anyone, any questions or concerns on the financial report?
Move we accept resolution 2023-9-1.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting resolution 2023-9-1, the August 2023 financial report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is the claims report, resolution 2023-9-2, again in your packet and was circulated via email. Questions or concerns on the claims report?
I make a motion, we accept resolution 2023-9-2.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anything else before we vote? All those in favor of adopting resolution 2023-9-2, the claims report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next is resolution 2023-9-3, the September 11th personnel report. Just one item on the personnel report, hiring of non-certified staff member Alexa Neal, special education paraprofessional, River Valley Junior Senior High, effective September 11th, 2023. Is there a motion with regard to resolution 2023-9-3?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not all those in favor of adopting resolution 2023-9-3, the September 11th personnel report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, move on to resolution 2023-9-4, which is the monthly transfer of funds from education to operations. This month is being recommended we transfer $50,364.47 from education to operations for the month of August 2023. Is there a motion with regard to resolution 2023-9-4?
Move we accept resolution 2023-9-4.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of adopting resolution 2023-9-4 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that will stand approved. That brings us to old business. Is there any old business we need to address? All right, seeing none, move to new business. Approval of student transfer report. The transfer request list is in your packet, showing 4 students, all new to Blue River Valley, being recommended for approval, and 3 that are being recommended to deny admittance. So is there a motion with regard to the transfer request list?
Move we accept the recommendations as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Will these count on our, have we already had count day?
October 1.
Perfect.
Anything else before we vote? All those in favor of approving the recommendations on the transfer request list dated September 11th, 2023, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is the approval of the teacher evaluation model. You got the evaluation model that was circulated.
Just to bring to your attention, the smaller double-sided one sheet, the second item, you turn it on the back side, page 7. and you compare that to page 7 in the bigger packet, that's the largest change in this document. It's really comes a change to a recalibration of the summative scores for our teacher evaluation, and you can compare both of those page 7s. This was discussed with the teachers union, and we felt, again, as we raise expectations, that this is the right thing to do for the results that we're after. So again, you're just comparing.
This was the whole.
Yeah, the single sheet was the old,
Okay.
and the new packet is the complete, what you're voting on this evening.
Questions, concerns on the modification?
I make a motion that we accept the evaluation model and peer assistance and review model, evaluator and teacher handbook for 2023-2024.
Second.
Motion is second. Anything else before we vote? All those in favor of approving the recommended changes to the peer assistance and review model, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those will stand approved. Next is resolution 2023-9-5. This is a, get to it here. Blanket reduction in appropriations. Ms. Riley, I think this is a pretty common annual process.
It just allows that come December, we have appropriations left that we're not going to need, we can reduce those on next year's budget.
I make a motion that we accept resolution R 2023-9-5.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anything else before we vote? All those in favor of approving resolution 2023-9-5, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then have an approval of the Aries Council donation to the high school. Have an email in your packet that the high school received a $500 donation for drug testing for the 2023-2024 school year from Interlocal Community Action Program or the Aries Council. So I know it always seems silly to me, but we need a motion and take a motion and approve the acceptance of that donation.
I make a motion, we approve the Aries Council donation.
Second.
Motion second. Anything else? All those in favor of accepting the Aries Council donation as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then approval of the contract with Hayes, Copeland, Haver, Kreider, Harvey. They serve as our general counsel. Previously, they would come to our meetings on a routine basis. Not really needed that, so we haven't done that in some time, but they're still essentially on call. You can see the hourly rates in there. $175 for normal hourly services, bond services, $200 per hour. And you see the retainer, $3,000 retainer for a 1-year term of the contract. So that's the material items there. So, questions or concerns on the contract for legal services?
Make a motion, we approve the contract with Hayes, Copeland, Haver, Kreider, and Harvey.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the contract for legal services with Hayes, Copeland, Haver, Kreider, Harvey as our legal counsel, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show that approved. Next is the approval of the Gibraltar donation, which is detailed in your packet. So they've made a $300 donation in lieu of taking us all out to dinner for the School Board Association. So don't quite know how I feel about that, but we'll go with it. But no, we appreciate the donation of $300, and it can be directed to any area of need to help students or teachers. So,
Make a motion, we approve the donation.
Second.
motion second. Anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the $300 donation from Gibraltar, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then next is the resolution 2023-9-6. So this is a transfer of funds. We have established a rainy day fund, and we have to approve transfers. So we are, the request is that we would approve a transfer of $184,237.70 from operations into rainy day. That is from the sale of the, Ray does it as a funeral home across the road, our former superintendent's office. So those are the proceeds from that, so that will go into rainy day.
I make a motion, we accept resolution 2023-9-6.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other questions or concerns before we vote? If not, all those in favor of approving resolution 2023-9-6 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution will stand approved. And then resolution 2023-9-7 reads, whereas the Board of School Trustees must approve electronic funds transfer method of payment of claims. The corporation has been requested to make a payment of claims by electronic funds transfer. Be it resolved that whoever Valley Board of School Trustees authorizes the use of electronic payment of claims. So I assume that'll just be a blanket. If someone wants an electronic payment, that you are authorized to initiate that and see that, carry that through.
We're having more and more vendors request payment that way.
Right.
Obviously, with the price of postage continuing to go up, it would be beneficial to us as well.
Right.
But you do have to approve us to be able to make payments electronically. And you would still see the
Right, right. We'd still see it, but yeah, it'd just be electronic rather than a check.
I make a motion that we accept resolution R 2023-9-7.
Second.
Motion and a second on that resolution. Anything else before we vote? All those in favor of approving resolution 2023-9-7, the approval of electronic fund payments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that concludes our agenda for this evening. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board?
Do we need to, our conflict of interest, do we need to read those out?
I think we can just sign them, but.
Okay, all right.
Just if any of you guys have not seen cafeteria furniture, you should stop by. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's on the hallway the
Totally
other day.
different room.
I haven't seen it since it's been installed, so.
And I told Brian this earlier, we're waiting on the 4 logo tables, so when you look in there, it looks a little wonky. We still have a couple of the old tables in there, just until those 4 logo tables come in the next few weeks. All of the new bleachers came in at the elementary, and it's like IKEA on multiple steroids. I mean, thousands of, they don't even look like bleachers right now. I will tell you that Chris Mollett and his crew, on about a day's notice, came in over the weekend and painted where the old bleachers were in the wall to get ready for the new bleacher installation that'll take the next couple of weeks. So the elementary gym is really coming along looking so good.
Good. Good. All right, we got a few things to sign, but if there's nothing else, we can close the meeting.